Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Juan Carlos Brando, and for me, it's a pleasure to be here with the attorney Margaret W. Wong, which is one of the best attorneys in the United States of America in the immigration field. And I'm proud to say that because not many people are lucky enough to get next to the attorney Margaret W. Wong, and also to get to learn from her. I I see how she is transmitting her DNA to all the law firm, to all the attorneys, teaching them, teaching the paralegals, teaching the legal assistants, and it's an awesome experience to be able to to talk about immigration and because the experience is what makes the difference. You can be an attorney, you can have a title of attorney, but what else? What's going to happen after that? And not many attorneys are able to stay focused on the immigration field because it's very emotional. Sometimes when an attorney has to lose a case or cannot do something for a client, then they get disappointed because there was nothing that they could do. And if we get emotional in this field, maybe we are not gonna stay there for a long time. But it's been 46 years, Ms. Wong. How how have you done this for 46 years without getting upset or getting frustrated? How have you handled victories and maybe defeats if that,
Failures.
and
Yes.
failures?
I
How
have
have you
failed a
handled that?
lot. I have won a lot, but life is humbling and you just get up every morning and go to work and hopefully you win another big one. Yesterday we filed, my paralegal told me we filed a I-90. Normally I-90 right now is taking 1.5 years. We got it in 3 weeks. I mean, it's nice to celebrate. I mean, it's a good case to start with, but getting it so fast really makes my day. You get another 10 years green card, which is very nice. Little victories like that makes you feel good, but it's wonderful.
Yes, Ms. Wong. And also, one of the things that, well, I see is a lot of people have good comments about you, and they say she's the best attorney in the United States. And I see many people saying that. But sometimes we also see some people that are maybe upset for whatever reasons. I'm an attorney too in my country, and somehow a lot of people talk good about me, and some other people maybe they didn't like something and they say, "Wow, this attorney is this and that." How have you handled that and made a balance in your life with good and bad stuff that happens along your career?
Yes. When I was a younger lawyer, I get very upset. I got emotional. I try to say, I don't want to represent you anymore. Take your money back. But as years go on, I also have a lot of wisdom. My mom is one of them. Who just say, Margaret, just go on. They may not like you now, but if you win the case, they will like you. So you don't go on day. Cases are getting longer, longer. We have cases that took me 25 years and I got them residencia. So it's hard for you to go on. Just don't think about it because the daily turmoil, go to bed at night. They try to go to bed early, try to get up early. I go swimming at least 5, 6 days a week. I go to bed very early, at least maybe 10 o'clock, 10:30. I try not to put because I have an alarm on my iPhone. I try to put my iPhone away from me. Otherwise, I wake up too early. I'm waiting for the iPhone. I'm waking up the iPhone. So I think it's important to develop that habit and that routine.
Yeah, that's true. And I see sometimes I've been there in Cleveland, and somehow uh, I try to get early to the office at 7 a.m. And when I get there, you're already there.
Yes, I
So,
love it. Yes,
are you a morning person?
very much a morning person.
A morning
Yes.
person. That's good. Okay, let's start with the questions. And Pela is saying, "Hi, Miss Wong and team from Cameroon." So thank you so much, Pela, for this message.
Oh, that's it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's just
Thank you.
a hello message. And the first question we have today is, I applied for asylum in 2016 and I am your client. Any good news for Obama administration? Applied asylum. I entered in the United States with B1, B2 visa and applied before 6 months stay visa.
Good job. So you apply within a year. I don't know what country you're from. I presume you're one of those lucky ones who did not get an interview yet, which is good because now the next work permit you got will be good for 5 years. I don't know if you want, depends on your country and your story. If there's less than even an 80% chance of refer less than 80 right less than 80% chance of even winning or refer to court or some, don't push the case, protect. There's always three goals in immigration work. Number one, get yourself a status, whatever it is. It's not the best, you cannot travel, it's not residencia, but you got yourself a status. Number two, make sure somehow somewhere you could work legally, and that's a work permit. That's why President Biden just on October 1st give, I presume, yes, C8, C10, A5, or five types of work permit, 5 years. So now, whatever happens to a case, at least you protected yourself for that 5 years. Because normally, immigration does not deport people if you're working legally and filing tax return, no criminal record. That's the second thing. The third thing, now that everything is clear, I've been in America for years, and if you have family members over 21, you have parents that could sponsor you or a job offer. That's really, these are the ways to get green cards, or 10-year cancellation 42B, or you came legally, children became over 21. There's not that many ways to get a green card in America. Then at least one day you get residencia. That's why I keep telling my listening, whoever listens to me, most times nobody listens to me, that we need President Biden to win. We cannot afford Trump. I just met with some Indian nationals. The wife and children all became citizens, um, and they were never married. But these are his children. But he came with some material misrepresentations when he applied for tourist visa. But because he cannot marry her, he has no qualifying relative to do 601. These are families that's in America for more than 30 years, and now he still cannot get a green card. And I know what the problem is. So hope, especially if Trump comes back this case, they may even take away the family's citizenship. So that's one thing I plead with our listeners, is to really vote for people, because people like us, we can vote. Vote for people we know that's good for immigrants like us. You don't want some white supremacists or whatever, or wants to war, or wants to get rid of people. America is great. You don't get rid of people who've lived here for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. The border is a separate story. Really stop coming to America. I've heard that the people who try to come have reduced, because now you have CPP1, you have family reunification, you have CAMP. There are different programs now. So the new ones, you want to come illegally, stop. Give President Biden a chance to win the case. I'm not saying don't come. I'm just saying that give us a few more months so he can win. Number two, whoever is here, we need immigration, some changes, so a lot more people, if anything, at least get that work permit. Even nowadays, work permit takes months and months to get.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Wong. And don't forget, the phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984. You can talk to the attorney Margaret W. Wong, or one of the attorneys in the law firm, that they are ready to serve you and to help you in your immigration case. Also, all the paralegals teams, all the assistants, they are ready and willing to help you in your case. So if you want to call, the phone number is 216-279-3984. Offices in 7 cities of the United States: Atlanta, Chicago, Cleveland, Columbus, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is just 1-216-279-3984. We have another question. It says, I applied for um, work permit based on asylum 2 years ago and no answer yet. What can I do? Thank you.
Number one, if you look at your receipt notice, there's a number there. Just go on the internet, uscis.gov. Like a status. You just type in the figure, the status will come up. But the good news is, because the case was not granted after October 1st of 2023, you will get a 5-year. Make sure your case is not dismissed, removed, terminated. And if there was a decision, make sure it's on appeal. So check also the EOIR web to make sure your court case, if it's in court yet, it's not terminated or dismissed. We have clients who didn't know their cases were dismissed until they came see me. It takes 5 minutes to check the internet. But if it's not dismissed, and you should get it, you have the stamp of the 589 from court or from USCIS, you will get a 5-year, and it's a C8 work permit, 5 years.
Okay, that's awesome. That's good. What work permit would be better for a person that has the option of asylum and
Or
TPS?
Asylum, it really is a pending status. If this asylum is denied in court, you will have a removal, but you can appeal 3 more times. TPS is really very much a status. So when it comes to status, TPS is a better status than asylum status. The work permit is the same. So if you really want to be safe, definitely apply for TPS, but you can save the $410 and not apply for the 2-year TPS work permit. I would do the C8 work permit, which is only 5 years, which is 5 years, because you don't need a 2 work permit, you need only 1 now. On the other hand, if it's a C14, which is a U visa bona fideness work permit, I would definitely also get the C8 because it is good for 5 years. Bona fideness is only 4 years, plus bona fideness is not even a status. It's really just something to wait for the U visa approval. So it depends on what's compared, but TPS is a status. So definitely apply for TPS. So do the 821D, but you don't have to do the 765 because you don't need 2 work permit.
Okay, that's
But that's a
awesome.
very
Thank
good
you so
question.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wong. And don't forget, if you want more advice, just give us a call, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. This next question says, I applied for asylum. I am married and I have 1 kid. He is 12. I want to divorce.
Sorry.
What would happen with my husband in the asylum case, as I am the principal on the asylum application?
If you want divorce, there are 2 ways to do it. If you really don't like him and wants to separate from him and you have a better story than him, you can separate. You need your lawyer to motion to sever. So have him do a separate case. Then he'll have to file a new asylum, but the date, because you should file within a year, but if he missed it, he probably missed it, then so you can go back to the old date where when you file, you say, yes, that's motion to severe, file a new one. But if the same issue, both of you have joint custody of the kid and the kid is very sick and you don't want to waste more legal fees, we can just tell the judge or tell the ACC there's the same issues. We want to try the case together. We don't need to separate. We don't need to file separate ones. So he really does not have his own claim. His claim depends on you, even though you're divorced. But it's always better maybe to do a separate 589 if it's a 10-year cancellation case, because then if he has to pay child support, you have the sole custody. 482B, I always recommend fighting couples to separate, but if it's a pure asylum case, you don't, this is the same issue. Depends on the case, really. But if you don't like him, do a motion to sever. Maybe give the same lawyer a waiver so they can represent both of you, but if not, ask him to get a new lawyer. You need to get a new. It's always good to have separate lawyers, because then if there's abuse and stuff, someone can do a U visa, stuff like that. And if the same lawyer represent both of you, it's hard for him or her to advise.
Okay, so in the asylum application, they can tell the attorney to separate the cases?
Yes, sever. Yeah,
Oh,
you
okay.
need a motion. But if the case is not in court yet, you can just file a new one. And then when you go to interview, tell them that you're not thinking of divorce, right?
No, no, no.
Okay,
no,
it's
no.
not
I'm
you. Okay.
really, really happy.
Yeah,
I'm really happily
okay, no
married, and
problem.
I'm
It's
in the
just
principal in my
right,
case.
right. No problem. Yeah, no problem. So I'm sorry. So it's okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to
No,
be
no, no,
rude.
no, no,
Yeah,
no,
no
no.
problem. Because it's
Yeah,
something when
good.
it's your friends and your family, that's when you're like, oh, I need to know more. But normally depends really on the case. But if you really want to separate from him, do a motion to sever.
Okay, so that there you have an answer, and if you want more advice about this, just give us a call. The phone number, you already have it, is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Divorce is a separation, is always hard.
Yes.
That's always hard. And I remember when I used to work on those cases, I remember, and I say this with a lot of respect, but women are stronger in these cases than men.
They
Uh,
don't give up fighting for what's right.
never,
And the
never.
man is like, just stop it already. Just stop it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
men. What I've seen is men just they just want peace. Okay, she wants the house, just give her the house. She wants this and that, just give it to her. I just want to keep my car. And what a lot
But
of men,
normally the man is the one who has a girlfriend, especially the successful man.
oh,
Younger, prettier, and they're going to get more money from the man because the older wife normally started with the man when she was poor and he was poor. I mean,
yeah,
I'm a
that's
woman,
true.
you're a man. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No,
that's
no, it's
true.
okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
And one of the things I would see is that those men, when she was the one that probably had another person, or they were separated for a long time and she was dating someone, this man would come to me and say, okay, attorney, I want to give her the house and everything, but can you put a clause there that says that she cannot bring any man to the house?
That is funny. That
And
is
I
a
was
good
like,
one.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I mean, I don't know if that's something that is gonna, you know, be a part of the document, but I mean, I can try, and the judge is gonna decide about it. So
Oh, that is funny.
I
Yeah.
remember seeing all of those arguments, and well, sometimes they would come back together, and I was like, well, you pay the money for nothing. Thank you for the gift, and life keeps going on.
Yes.
Okay, the next question is, good morning. I entered through the border, got TPS a long time ago. If I travel overseas, would I have a problem to return?
There are two scenarios. We have a lot of clients who got TPS already had deportation before or after. Uh, my take is anytime there's a TPS parole, I hope you have parole and travel. That's a 95% chance, of course, it's difficult, you're the one person that should be able to come back. But if you want to travel for the sake of adjustment of status to a green card because your kid is over 21, your wife is a citizen, then you need, there's a special memo from immigration about how to do this. You still need to do the adjustment of status for green card. You need to do a motion to reopen after you come back in because now you came back in after a deportation order, but with parole. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And don't forget, the phone number is 216-279-3984. The attorney Margaret W. Wong has a lot of experience working in the immigration field, also in the court, working on several kind of cases, cancellation of removal, which is one of the hardest cases that you have to fight. Also, the asylum applications that are really hard to prepare, 212 waivers and 601A and 601 waivers, which are very, very hard to fight because sometimes immigration is going to request more evidence and they're going to try to fight it back so that you don't get the waiver if they don't see that everything is clear. So she has a lot of experience and she has taught a lot of attorneys how to do it. And some of them have started their own law firms, but it's thank you to someone who has not been tied to sharing her knowledge. So you have a good attorney that is talking to you right now, and you can find the phone number is 216-279-3984 and get an advice with her before this year ends in the city that she's going to be in the next days. We have another question is, hi ma'am, what are the chances of winning the diversity lottery, and you know any legit websites or pages that we can do it online?
You need to go to USDOS, Department of State.gov, and just say register. I presume you're talking about the DV lottery and not the H1B lottery. H1B lottery starts on February 1st. It'll be on next year, February 1st. But you're talking about the lottery from US Department of State, the 55,000 numbers from different countries that don't have enough. I mean, because America wants to be totally diversified for the 55,000. For that, you just go to that web. I would not pay some people who said, well, I can get you into a secret way and stuff. There's no secret, it's a lottery. So do it well. And if you're married, say you're married. If you're single, say you're single. they ask where you born, what's a country of nationality. So, for example, you're born in Liberia, but you lived in Saudi forever, but Saudi doesn't give passports. Or you are a Chinese passport, but you are Singaporean citizen. So you say Singaporean passport, uh, China born, or something like that. So make sure nationality and place of birth are two different places.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. Well, and this is interesting. I remember a long time ago I paid like $400 for this visa lottery and nothing happened. I wonder if it was a legit page or not, because I was in Venezuela and that was back in 2009,
There
2010.
was a time that we do also lotteries because in those days we split. So, for example, a deadline is, let's assume, April 1st, right? So we started mailing out the paperwork like, so we have room full of envelopes. So we'll mail out 20 envelopes for this client, 20 envelopes for this on March 15th or March 16th, hoping there's no snowstorm because they pick it up on that midnight, and the lottery came from that midnight. So, but I'm worried that if I mail it too late, we'll miss the. So we'll call the postal office, the chief of the post office, say, hey, when do you think this letter would go? I mean, they were going crazy. That's why now, lottery now, you can either go online and do the on only one letter. Years ago, you can do 2,000 letters, 5,000. I mean, rooms and room full, and we would have yellow stickers, yellow, red stickers. Get some of our people who are pregnant because we figured they're lucky. Give us some lucky fingers. So we think of all the games. We did some Federal Express, some USPS, some ordinary mail, some you name it, we did it. So, but I don't think it increases. I mean, it's luck. So it's
Yeah, thank you so much.
yeah.
Well, okay. Sonia Cruz is saying blessings to the best attorney. Um, I recommend her. It's Sonia Cruz.
Thank you.
Like I think I know Sonia. I'm not sure. I think I know her. So hi Sonia. Thank you so much for your message.
Thank you.
Okay, I am EB5 applicant. The application was made via Hong Kong agency in 2019. Recently, I searched on the website and found the US lawyer and the company NCE responsible for the EB5 project are showing us dissolution. I contacted the Hong Kong agency and the staff who are responsible for the project has resigned. Right now, I need to find another US lawyer to provide advice and handle the rest of paperwork.
And let me tell you, there are two ways to do it, and I see so many of these cases. And the sad thing is now Hong Kong went back to China, but the good news is Hong Kong have its own quota. So because you're born in Hong Kong, because you filed in 2019, it's a different case that born in China and filed in 2019 because China is slower than Hong Kong. So the question then becomes, I don't necessarily think you need a lawyer now. You may want to do a FOIA or talk to everybody or go to the Bar Association. If you find who the lawyer is, American, that's why a lot of these EB5, they're very smart. They hire like American lawyers from Taiwan. They hire lawyers from Singapore. They hire lawyers from India. They don't use American, even though they're licensed to practice law in America, but most of them are in different countries because then the Bar Association here are not that tough because they're not subject to our bars. Or some of these lawyers are not even, they may graduate from law school, they may not be barred, you see. So, but since you already found a lawyer, I would ask them for your file, even if the lawyer died, and I'm sure this lawyer didn't die, we have files that we have to return to lawyers under the bar rules. And tell them that, if not, and you're from Hong Kong, it's not like you're from Timbuktu, you don't speak English, because I came from Hong Kong. So ask the lawyer for the file. I don't think you need to jump and give lawyers money because EB5 lawyers are expensive. I do a lot of EB5. I don't mind looking at it for you, just to let you know what's the status. And also on dissolution, if it's a bankruptcy, that's a very good bankruptcy file that you can just go on the internet, go on Pacer and look at it. And lawyers like us, we have Pacer. We don't, you don't need to pay money for that. If the money already is spent, like your 800,000, I presume it's 2019, so it's 500,000. If your 500,000 is already spent on the 10 people on the hiring, you should still win your case. Just because a company go bankrupt or dissolved doesn't mean you lose. On the other hand, it's 2019, it's about 4 or 5 years. Now it's 2023, you have 1 year, maybe even 6 months left. You should get an RV or annoyed or something to. Normally, the way to do it is first you file, you get the 700 some page, 1,000 page documents ready because it is a EB5. Then you file the 26 plus all the documents. Then you either get the NOID or RV, then you respond to that, and then it should be approved. I mean, I would like to see it approved. Now you have to wait for quota. Hong Kong quota is faster than China. Vietnam is still open, so China is opening soon because the two highest or three highest country that does this is very much China. Vietnam is doing a lot, so quota will be closing soon, if not closed already, and so is India. Another way to do it instead of just waiting is to maybe get a Canadian passport or Mexican passport. A lot of Chinese now are doing Mexicans because for them, Canada and Mexico are the same. The goal is to come to America. Mexico is a lot cheaper to get a passport than Canada and come on an e-visa. But for now, don't give up. And I think you need to just get the file, talk to a lawyer, if not call me. I would like to look at the file for you. I'll tell you what I expect or what any lawyer expects. And then at that time, maybe hire. You need a lawyer to have a place to send the documents for RV, for request for additional information, for notice of intent to deny, for stuff. And you need the new lawyer to file the E28. But most lawyers in America, we have specialty. And some lawyers does a lot of asylum, 42B litigation. Some lawyers does a lot of family-based Child Protection Act, passports from one child born overseas, one child born in Singapore, stuff like that, because they accept to travel the world. There are other lawyers who does a lot of 245I, a lot of family-based cases. I married, I divorced, I remarry again, stuff like that. So different types of lawyers. Not every lawyer does EB5. EB5 is a very specialty group because they represent the rich people. And they have to understand the flow of money. Where did I get the money? Especially in the olden days, India and China, we have no tax return. So how do I prove I invested that kind of money? Where did my money come from? Because America doesn't want all these like mafia money to come in, black money to come in, all the red envelopes. That means years and years ago, when China, we have a lot of Chinese who say, oh, no problem, Margaret, $1 million. Because in those days, it's $1 million to $2 million. So they say, Margaret, don't worry about it. If we lose the money, it's okay. I just want my green card, So, but to do that, knowing that we don't mind losing the money, they can open a restaurant, they have to hire 10 people, but then they know that it doesn't matter if they lose the money because then they plan to close it, which I don't think is fair. Because I really think any business, you need to make it successful. Money is money, no matter how we get it. So these are things that through the years is changing.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wong. And yeah, that's awesome. What you just mentioned, and EB5 is investment visa, right?
Right.
Okay, that's perfect. So if you want more information, please give us a call. The phone number is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984. Do we have time for one more question, Ms. Wong? Okay, perfect. So this person says, hi, Ms. Wong. They wrote Wong with W-A-N-G.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another way to spell it.
Okay. I am your former client. I have a question. Well, we have another question after this one. On how to file for multiple entry visas for my boyfriend who is here visiting from South Africa. Is there a different way to file? We are in serious relationship and he's going to be traveling back and forth. I also didn't see the exit time, but entry only. Thank you.
Okay. If you go to the immigration office, if not, if you're a former client, that means somehow you already have some papers. Talk to Mr. Leo. You remember Leo? Leo will teach you how on the web to search his arrival and his departure dates. What visa is he coming from? Because I don't believe South Africa have ESTA. So you need to apply for tourist visa, student visa. If all else fail, maybe do a fiance visa, but then you have to marry him within 90 days. But if he leaves in less than 90 days, then you don't have to marry him. He can still come back on whatever visa he had. So the first question I have is what visa is he coming in? Maybe do the same visa. If not, apply for tourist visa. The fact that he have been leaving and coming, it's important. I think he should get it. If he already had the tourist visa, he needs to renew it. There's a drop box. If you look at USDOS.gov, Biden came up with a new rule just 1 or 2 years ago. There's a drop box now. When Trump was here, you need to apply for every new visa in person. They have a right to interview you. But Biden took the old, actually Bush thing back, Obama thing back. If you already had an old visa, 10 years, 2 years, 5 years, you just do it, put it in the drop box, and then they'll review it. Unless they have questions, you don't need to go for interview. But good luck and congratulations, and I'm happy that you found happiness.
Okay, that's good. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And well, next question. And I found out that my U.S. citizen spouse was already married. I just after we got married, she's nowhere to found for the past 8 months. Can I file for VAWA?
Wawa is for abuse. There are two types of abuse. You can do physical abuse. We need a medical and police record. In this case, he just disappeared. He also was never divorced. You need to write down where. I presume you don't have a green card, but you enter legally because otherwise, why marry a citizen if you need a 601A, which it takes 6 years anyway. So it depends on the story because as I said, there are two types. One is physical violence. You need certain documents. Another type is psychological violence. So if he just disappeared or, you know, there was no abuse, it's harder to file. But write down the story because there's a lot of abuse. Sometimes it's verbal. Sometimes it's total silence. That's worse than yelling at each other every day. I think total silence is also an abuse. I've heard stories about when the husband don't say anything, they come home, they expect dinner, and they go to bed, and then they do their computer at night. You don't know what he's doing. That's creepy. So, I think that's more abusive than just fighting verbally arguing or fighting. Your food is no good. My food is good. So it depends on how. There's a lot of abuse. Go on the internet, check different types of abuse.
Silence hits harder than words.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, Ms. Wong, our time is up, and we know you are very busy today here in Atlanta. Thank you so much for having me and for sharing the knowledge that you have with so many people that are joining us every single Wednesday and Thursday at this time. So I hope you have time for lunch today, and see you next time. Thank you so much. And don't forget that the attorney Margaret W. Wong is happy to help you in your immigration case. The phone number is 216-279-3984 with offices in 7 cities of the United States of America, in Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is just 1-216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Thank you so much. Have a good lunch and see you next time. Thank you, Ms. Wong.
Thank you.